been keeping me. Here, David had went over and joined up with the Philistines. But they got a little upset because they said, look, he might turn on us. So we don't want him fighting with us anymore. You know, it's sad when nobody wants you. Saul and the children of Israel didn't want him. The Philistines didn't want him. But glory be to God, God wanted him. Don't worry if don't nobody else want you. Tell your neighbor, as long as God wants me, I got a smile on my face, and I sure got joy in my heart. Somebody ought to give God glory, because don't nobody want you but God. And you know, God knows what kind of mess I am. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you a mess too. Some of y'all more messy than others, but you a mess too. Amen, amen. We ain't nothing but a bunch of messed up folks that God smiled on. Somebody ought to thank God for his smile. When nobody else look your way, he looked your way. And thank God he turned you around. So now, David and his 600 men began to make their way back to Ziklag. Get ready to go back to their wives, sons and daughters, to their wealth and riches. Hearts probably a little down because they've been rejected. And anytime you get rejected, you have a little down spirit, because your hopes were up real high. Sometimes you go hoping and knowing you're going to get a job, and they turn you down. You feel a little rejected. But I'm going back home now. At least I got my wife and my children. I got a little wealth, and I'm going to relax and plan my next move. 3 days journey. David and his men can't wait to get home. Ooh. When I get there, the home that I was looking for ain't there no more, because the Amalekites had come in and stolen all the wealth, had taken the sons and daughters, captured the wives, captured David's 2 wives. Ain't God all right? They didn't know what had happened. They didn't know if they were alive or dead. All they could smell was the smoke from the ashes. But ain't God all right? God know how to take care of us, even in a bad situation. Somebody ought to give God glory, because you've been in a bad situation, but God still knows how to take care of you. Anybody here want to look in the rearview mirror, and when you read it on the side, it says objects are a lot closer than they appear. High five your neighbor and say, neighbor, You ain't too far away from that stuff you used to do. Ain't God all right? Somebody ought to give God glory. I did some bad things in my life, but he sure knows how to take care of me. I wish I had a real church. You know you ain't been holy all your life. Don't let me come down your street. Everybody in here done did something they ain't have no business doing. Ain't God all right? High five your neighbor and say, neighbor, you ain't holy as you think you are. You know you done told some lies. You know you done laid around. You know you done talked about some folks. You know you done scandalized some people. But ain't God all right? Somebody ought to give God glory. I did some bad things in life, but he sure took care of me. Anybody want to just thank God that at least I'm in my right mind? Somebody ought to give God glory. After all I've been through, I still got good sense. Ain't God all right? Somebody ought to bless his name. After all that hell I raised, I still got good sense. I might be in a wheelchair, but I got good sense. I might have a limp, but I got good sense. Somebody ought to give God glory. I'll get on your feet and shake 5 hands. Say, neighbor, I thank God I got good sense. Yes, sir. I thank God I got good sense. Ain't God all right? Anybody here glad I ain't the fool I used to be? Somebody ought to give God glory. Tell your neighbor I ain't the fool I used to be. I know what the Lord has done for me. I know where the Lord has brought me from. And I sure know what the Lord has brought me through. Ain't God all right? Do you hear the hymnology said through dangers, toils, and snares? I've already come. Sometimes you ought to shout about some stuff you done already come through. That ought to give you a victory dance. Because if I made it through that, I know I can make it through this. I'll tell your neighbor, if I made it through yesterday, I know I can make it through today. I know I can make it. Sad counters, the loss, everything. Ain't God all right? The Bible said they cried until they couldn't cry no more. Ain't got no more strength. Ain't got no more tears. And they cried out because it looks like it's all over. Anybody want to give God glory? Because it looks like a bad situation. Somebody ought to bless his name because it sure look like a bad situation. But I got anybody there seeing God turn it around. Ain't he all right? He specializes in things that are impossible. Somebody ought to give God glory because it looked like it's all over. We done cried out. Now they turned their attention on their leader. They looked at David, and the Bible said They were ready to stone him. They were ready to kill him. Ain't God all right? You know when folks get in trouble, they forget about what you already done. They forget about the battles they done already won. They forget about where you done brought them from. They forget about where you done brought them through. Ain't God all right? Did you hear him singing the other day? Saul and killed his 1,000 and David his 10,000. Somebody ought to give God glory. Did you hear him singing the other day when he had Goliath's head in his hand? But we done forgot all that now. All we see is the burning ashes. I ain't got my wife. I ain't got my wealth. And I ain't got my children. Ain't gone all right. They thought about getting rid of David. And if you ain't done nothing for me lately, I think I want to get rid of you too. Somebody ought to give God glory. The Bible said David encouraged his own self. Sometimes you got to quit looking at them ugly faces because they ain't going to help you at all. Ain't God all right? Sometimes you got to be like old Hezekiah and turn your face to the wall and cry out unto the Lord. Somebody ought to give God glory. And now and then, I say, Robert, it ain't that bad. Everything gonna be all right. Every now and then, I pat my own back. Ain't God all right? Somebody ought to get on their feet, and you ought to pat your own back and say, it ain't that bad. Ain't God all right? Tell your neighbor, it ain't that bad. Tell your neighbor, it ain't that bad. Tell your neighbor, it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. Ain't God all right? Somebody ought to give God glory. You ain't that ugly. It ain't that bad. It ain't tore up so bad. High five your neighbor. Walk around and shake five hands and say, neighbor, I ain't that ugly. I ain't that ugly. I ain't that ugly. Bring me the ephod. Ain't God all right? That was a vesture that they put on to understand what God wants done. And let me stop right there. You need to put on the ephod. And you need to get a good understanding what God wants done.